Good morning everyone. Today we will study chapter 1, crop production and management. In this chapter we will study what is crop and the classification of crops. After that we will see basic practices used in crop production. And then in the last we will see what is green revolution, what are crop rotation and mixed cultivation, and we will also study the food obtained from animals. First, let us understand what is agriculture. The practice of raising plants and rearing animals for food and other useful products is known as agriculture. The question comes, what is the need to raise plants? The answer is very easy, very simple. Plants play an important role in our life. We get oxygen from plants for breathing, and most of the food items that we eat we get from plants. Other than this, plants they also give us wood, spices, fibers for clothes. So we get many things from the plants. So as to meet our requirements, we need to grow more and more plants. Now let us see what is the meaning of rearing animals. Rearing animals means bringing up and taking care of animals for obtaining useful products from them. So, the practice of raising plants and rearing animals for food and other useful products is known as agriculture. Now we will see what is crop. Same type of plants being cultivated at one place on a large scale is called a crop. That means when same types of plants they are grown at one place on a large scale is called crop. After that, let us see what is agricultural field. The plot of land used for cultivation of crop plants is known as agricultural field. Now we will see classification of crops. This classification of crops here it has been done on the basis of the useful products obtained from the crops. We get various kinds of useful products from the various types of crops. So on the basis of that, the crops have been classified into various categories. Let us see. Cereal crops. Cereal crops are the crops from which we get the grains, and the grains they are rich in starch and fiber. Examples are wheat, rice, maize, etc. Next is fiber crops. Fiber crops they are grown for getting the fibers that are used in the clothing. Next is pulses and legumes. Pulses or legumes they are a rich source of proteins, and we know that proteins they are very important for the growth of the body. So the examples here are pulses, grams, beans, etc. Next is oil yielding crops. These crops they provide us oil. These crops they are rich in edible oil. Examples are groundnut, sunflower, etc. Next is sugar yielding crops. These crops have high sugar content. For example, sugarcane. From sugarcane we get sugar. Next is vegetables and fruits. Vegetables and fruits they have high water content and they have various kinds of minerals and the vitamins. In the different type of vegetables and fruit, different types of minerals and nutrients are found. Spices. Spices are the flavoring plant products. Means the spices they add flavor to the food, or we can say they add taste to the food. So this was all about the classification of the crops on the basis of the useful products that we get from the crops. Now the next is classification of the crops on the basis of the seasons. The crops that are grown in the winter are known as rabi crops. These crops they are sown in winter season, so they are grown in October and they are harvested in the month of March or April. If we talk about the examples are wheat, gram, mustard. Next is kharif crops. Crops that are sown during the rainy season are known as kharif crops. Examples are rice, sugarcane, groundnuts, maize. These crops they need more water. So they are sown during the rainy seasons. That means these crops they are grown in June and harvested in September. So this was all about the classification of the crops on the basis of the season. Now we will see the basic practices that are used in the crop production. To ensure a good crop yield, several activities are undertaken by farmers over a period of time. First, let us understand what is the meaning of crop yield. Crop yield, it is a measure of crop production, or we can say it is a measure of crop produced per area of land. So, to get a good crop yield, farmer has to perform various activities over a period of time, and these activities, they are known as agricultural practices, and these practices are listed below. The first is the preparation of the soil. Before sowing the seeds, it is very important to prepare the soil for sowing the seeds. After that, seeds, they are selected and sown. Good variety of the seeds, they are selected and sown. After that, irrigation is done. Irrigation means the supply of the water to the crops at different time intervals. Weeding. Weeding means to remove the unwanted plants from the soil. After that, the next step is crop protection. Crop protection. It is very important to protect the crops from the animals, birds, etc. Lastly, when the crop gets mature, then the crop is cut. The process of cutting and gathering the crops when it gets matured, it is known as harvesting. And once the crop has been cut, it is very important to store it properly so that we can use the crop throughout the year. So these were the basic practices used in the crop production. Now we will study all these practices in detail one by one. First is the preparation of soil. First is preparation of soil. Before sowing the seeds, the soil should be prepared for the good yield. It is very important to prepare the soil. Now we will see what is the meaning of preparation of soil. In the soil preparation, 3 steps are involved. When we will understand these 3 steps, it will be very clear what is this process of preparation of soil. The first step in this preparation of soil is plowing. Plowing means it is a process of loosening and turning of soil, and this process is also known as tilling. It is done by a plow or using a hoe or by using cultivator. Here, this is the figure of a plow. Here in this figure, you can see that this is a plow. This edge, this is known as plow share. Okay, and this long log of wood, it is known as plow shaft. You can see that one end of this plow, it is attached to this beam that is placed on the bull's neck. A pair of the bulls and a man operate the plow. Now we studied that plowing means the process of loosening and turning of soil. Now the question comes, what is the need for plowing? So let us try to understand that. Advantages of plowing: it provides aeration to the roots. When the soil gets loosened, that means there are more air spaces between the soil particles now as compared to previous. So because of which it promotes the roots growth. Now the roots, they can grow deep into the soil, and now because there are more spaces between the air particles, now it becomes easy for the roots to breathe. So it's clear that because of the plowing, the roots, they can grow deep into the soil, and at the same time they can breathe easily. Next is weeding is easier in the loose soil. Yes, weeding becomes easier in the loose soil. And the loose soil and this turning of the soil, it also helps in the growth of the earthworms and the microbes in the soil. And these are very important. Earthworms and the microorganisms present in the soil, they are very important for the farmer because they decompose the dead matter and release back the nutrients in the soil. So the earthworms and these microorganisms that decompose the dead matter, they are also known as the farmer's friend. So this loosening of the soil, it also helps in the growth of the earthworm and the microbes in the soil. Next is it becomes easy for the farmers to apply fertilizers when the soil gets loosened. Next is plowing. It brings the nutrients rich soil on the top. Only a few centimeters of the top layer of the soil it is rich in the nutrients, and plowing it brings the nutrient rich soil on the top so that now plants they can use it easily. So this was all about the advantages of the plowing. Now let me show these tools that are used for plowing. Now we have understood all the advantages of plowing. Let us have a quick look on these tools. This is hoe. This is cultivator. This is the hoe. It is a manual device, or we can say it is a simple tool with the help of which the plowing is done manually. Next is cultivator. You can see here this is cultivator. This is driven with the help of the tractor. You can see here how uniformly plowing is being done with the help of this cultivator. Machines makes our work easier and they also reduce the time required to do that work. So the cultivator, when cultivator is used for the plowing, it saves the time and labor as well. Now here this plowing topic is complete. Now we will see leveling, the next step. As we discussed that in the preparation of soil, 3 steps are involved. First was plowing, the next is leveling. What is leveling and why does it done? Leveling, it is done to make the surface of the soil uniform after the process of plowing, and it is done with the help of a wooden or iron leveler. You can see here this is the pic of a leveler. So now the question comes, what is the need for the leveling? Leveling is very important because it prevents the soil erosion. That means it prevents top fertile soil from being carried away by the strong winds or washed away by the rainwater. And this also helps in the uniform distribution of water in the fields during irrigation. So that's why leveling is done after plowing. And very important, during plowing there are big chunks of soil are formed, and these big chunks of soil they are broken down to the smaller pieces during this process of leveling. Okay, so now we discussed about the second step, leveling. Now after understanding leveling, now let's move on to the next step, that is adding manures and fertilizers. Now, what are manures and fertilizers? The substances which are added to the soil in form of nutrients for healthy growth of plants are called manures and fertilizers. What is manure? It is an organic substance that is obtained from the decomposition of animal and plant wastes. So the manure, it is an organic substance and it is obtained from the decomposition of dead animal and plant waste. Because it is an organic substance, so it doesn't cause any kind of pollution. It is environment friendly. But the manures, they are of two types, compost and farmyard manures. Compost means the manure that is obtained by the decomposition of dead plant and animal matter. And as I told you, it is environment friendly. It doesn't cause any kind of pollution. The next one is farmyard manure. It is a commonly used manure in India, and the ingredient for this manure are cattle dung, urine and the crop waste. All these ingredients, they are mixed and dried in the sun, and the manure which is obtained, it is directly used as a farmyard manure. It provides various nutrients to the soil and increases the fertility of the soil. Next is fertilizers. Fertilizers are inorganic chemicals produced in the factories. They are rich in a particular kind of nutrient and they are applied in the small quantities. It is very important to note that fertilizers, they help in increasing the crop yield, but if they are used excessively, then it makes soil less fertile. So while using fertilizers, we should be very careful. They should not be used excessively. The negative point about fertilizers is the fertilizers, they lead to water pollution, and their excess use makes the soil less fertile. Now let us see the advantages of using manure over fertilizers. Now let us see how manures, they are beneficial over the fertilizers. First is manures, they enhance the water holding capacity of the soil. That means manures, they improve the water holding capacity of the soil. Next is manures, they make the soil porous, because of which the exchange of the gases, it becomes easier. Next is manure makes the soil rich in humus, which increases the fertility of soil. The last is manure improves the soil texture as well as its water retaining capacity. The soil texture. The texture of a soil, it is very important because it determines the soil characteristics which affects the plant growth. Okay, so manures, they are very beneficial because they improve the soil texture, and it also enhances, or we can say it also improves the water holding capacity of the soil. So because of which the manures, they are preferred over fertilizers. Manure and the fertilizers both have their advantages and disadvantages, but as I explained sometime before, the fertilizers, they should not be used excessively. Now we discuss the 3 steps of preparation of soil. So they were plowing, leveling, adding manures and fertilizers. Now the soil is prepared for sowing the seeds. Now the next step is selection and sowing of seeds. After the soil is prepared, the next step is seed sowing. But before sowing, a farmer should select good quality seeds so as to get maximum grain production and to avoid wastage. While sowing the seeds, farmers should consider some important points. Like seeds, they should not be sown so close to each other because otherwise they will start struggling for the nutrients, sunlight and water, and which will affect their growth. And the seeds, they should not be sown too shallow nor too deep. Seeds should be sown at the right depth. Now we will discuss about the methods of sowing seed. Here you can see some tools have been shown. Some tools have been shown that are used for sowing seeds. This is a traditional tool. This is seed drill, and this is a method broadcasting. So first let us discuss about traditional tool that used to be used in the previous time. Here you can see there is a funnel shaped tool that has been attached to the plow, and the seeds, they are filled in the funnel, and the seeds after passing through the funnel, the seeds, they passes through 2 or 3 pipes, and the plow, it purses the soil and place the seeds in the soil. So this is the traditional tool that was used in the ancient times. Next is seed drill. Here you can see that a seed drill, it consists of the vertical tubes, and they are at the uniform distance from each other, and there is one funnel at the top, and at the top there is one funnel in which seeds are put. When the seeds are put in the funnel, they are distributed through these vertical tubes which are attached to the plow. And the advantages of using seed drill is that with the help of the seed drills, when the seeds are sown, the seeds are sown at the uniform distance from each other and at the uniform depth. And after sowing the seeds, the seed drill, it also covers the seeds with the soil, which protects them from the birds also. And when we are sowing the seeds by the seed drills, it saves time and effort also. Here you can see this person, he is broadcasting the seeds. Broadcasting means scattering the seeds randomly in the field. It can be done using hands or by using mechanical broadcaster. What is a broadcaster? Broadcaster is a wide mouthed tube that spreads the seeds randomly on the ground. So we just saw the tools that are used for sowing the seeds. Next is transplantation. Now what is transplantation? Seeds of some crops, they cannot be sown directly into the fields. So the seeds of such crops, they are first grown in a nursery till their seedling stage, and then healthy seedlings, they are selected from the nursery and then they are transplanted to the field by hand. As you can see in this picture, the seedlings, these persons, they are transplanting the seedlings in the field using their hands. So dear students, today we will discuss till here. This was the part 1 of chapter 1. In the next video, we will discuss about the remaining practices of the crop production, green revolution, crop rotation and mixed cultivation. And after that, chapter will be over. Thank you.